Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. Now today we've changed the angle of the kitchen a little bit so you have a very nice clean background over here. To all of you who are watching today, hope you're having a great Sunday. But today we're here to check out a very interesting smartphone that I actually covered a couple of maybe weeks ago. Now this is actually the HUAWEI P50 Pocket. Now if you recall my previous video, I actually had a very brief hands-on time with this very special device. But today I'm here to share with you more of my experience after having more time to check out the HUAWEI P50 Pocket. Now first up, let's check out the box itself of the HUAWEI P50 Pocket. This is how the retail box looks like. It looks very simple and basic, but what's more important is what actually came in the box. Obviously, we do have the device itself. It also came with a transparent case that is actually very easy to affix onto the P50 Pocket itself. Very, very nice. Apart from that, we also get the 44-watt charger and of course the Type-C cable. Now that's all that came in the box. Now let's talk a little bit about the HUAWEI P50 Pocket. Alright, so this device here, it is a very interesting device because in terms of the pricing, it is RM5999 here in Malaysia for this white variant that is coming in with a storage of 8GB of RAM and 256GB of internal memory. Now if you have more money that you want to spend on, you can go for the most premium version. I think it comes in gold. It's called the premium edition and it's slightly more than 7,000 ringgit. Now that device has 12GB of RAM and 512GB of internal memory. Alright, so just in terms of the design and all that, yes, I did mention previously that it is actually very small. Notice that I do have my HUAWEI P50 Pro right here. So side by side, you notice that they're actually quite identical in terms of height when the P50 Pocket is open up. But when I flip it close, this is how small it is. So in terms of the thickness levels, it is also quite slim when folded. I think it's slightly more than 1.5 cm. And yeah, overall it is just a very small and pocketable device once you flip the device closed. Alright, so now done with the sizing. In terms of the design itself, we do have this kind of 3D kind of texture on the back panels of the HUAWEI P50 Pocket. If you just move and glide your hand around it, it's actually a very glossy, slippery surface, but you can actually feel the texture on the back panels here. So I think it is a micro glass as HUAWEI calls it, but overall it just looks very interesting here. You do notice that it is quite reflective of the lighting surroundings around you. So if I'm in a very cool environment like now, it will look very whitish, but if I'm in a slightly warmer environment, notice that it will look slightly more like goldish kind of color. So a very, very interesting kind of design here on the P50 Pocket. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about how the hinge works because it's quite simple and very straightforward. What I do have to point out here is that it is very easy to open and close the device with one hand. So I'm just going to demonstrate to you right now. I'm not sure if this is the right way of opening, just literally just flipping the device like open like that, but it actually opens up very easily here. Alright, so now done with the hinge and all that, let's talk a little bit about the display on the inside. Now on the inside, we do have a 6.9-inch OLED display. It's a 2K display and it refreshes at 120 Hz, so everything is just buttery smooth. In terms of your touch sampling rate, it is 300 Hz, so yes, it is a very, very brilliant display. In terms of colors wise, we do have support for 1 billion colors, and in case you're wondering what the aspect ratio is with this design, it is actually a 21:9 aspect ratio. That means if you're familiar with how the way movies shows up in the cinemas, that is actually the kind of aspect ratio that you will get. So that means you can watch it in the full screen over here and it gives you the most immersive experience. Now, if you are watching normal YouTube videos like the videos that I put out, you will see that it is a 16:9 ratio. That means you will have quite a fair bit of black bars on the left and right corner. So that's just in terms of the display. Overall, I'm very, very pleased to say that this display is one of the best displays again that HUAWEI is giving us, although it is a foldable display, but in terms of the contrast levels, in terms of the saturations, in terms of just the sharpness, it is a joy to watch content on the HUAWEI P50 Pocket. Now, some of you might be wondering, how does it work with the crease and all that? Honestly speaking, yes, you can still see the crease if you move the device at a certain angle. I found it the most obvious whenever I have like a totally blacked out wallpaper at the back. So that's when you can see a little bit more of the crease. But honestly speaking, if you are buying this device, you don't really care so much about the crease and all that. People who buy this device really just care about the entire fashion, the design of the HUAWEI P50 Pocket and all that. They don't really care about the crease. So that's something that I found out from people who buy other foldable phones. Now done with the interior display, let's talk a little bit about the exterior display, and it's called the Smart Cover Display. Now over here, you can actually show a couple of quick shortcuts, which I think is fairly useful. If you just double tap on the exterior display, you'll be able to see the time. You drag down from the top, you'll be able to access your notifications, you'll be able to see your messages, missed calls, and the good thing about messages here is that it can support emojis. So that's really good as well. If you just slide across, you'll be able to see the shortcut for the camera. You can also go into your weather widget. You can also go into your calendar widget. So there's a couple of things there, not too many actually, but a few useful widgets that you can actually have quick access directly on the external 1-inch OLED displays. Now I found the screen cover here especially useful for taking selfies because you get to use the main sensor to take pictures of yourself whenever you don't have anyone to help you take photos. It just works great here and it's so clear and it's very, very good quality. Now on that note, let's talk a little bit about the cameras. So if you take a look at this slightly protruding camera cutout over here, you'll notice that we do have 3 kind of sensors at the back. Now this is led by a 40 megapixel main sensor. You also have a 13 megapixel 120 degrees ultra-wide sensor. And last but not least, you have a 32 megapixel ultra spectrum camera that is supposed to capture the correct kind of color data for you to see the most accurate kind of pictures on the Huawei P50 Pocket. Now having said all that, how does the quality of the photos look like? Well, the good news here is that I've taken quite a fair bit of photos that I'm going to show with you on the screen right now, so you can see how all these photos shows up without any editing, both on the main sensor as well as the ultra-wide. Now, just to generalize the entire kind of photos that I've been taking, during the day and during brightly lit areas, they're decently sharp, but in terms of the colors, I found that it is actually very natural and close, true to life, just like how I was seeing it with my own eyes. That is something that I really like about, and I think that is probably due to the ultra spectrum camera that is actually helping in with actually trying to calibrate the right colors to show off in your pictures. Now, I also found that the ultra was a pretty good snapper as well. I noticed that the color, the temperatures and all that were very similar to the one on the main sensor. There's not much differences between both sensors, so that actually creates a very consistent kind of shooting experience. Now moving on to the night, I realized that this is where the Huawei P50 Pocket actually really shine. Pictures taken during the night look spectacular. You have great detail. When you turn on night mode, it actually takes just a few seconds to get that picture taken, and you can see there's quite a lot of detail here, and the contrast levels, the noise levels, they're all very balanced, and it looks like a great photo here taken at night. So these again are a couple of photos that you can see taken directly on the Huawei P50 Pocket, so you have a brief idea on how the photos actually turn out. Now last but not least, I also have taken a very quick clip here using the Huawei P50 Pocket. So it's just a sense of reference for you to know how it actually feels like to shoot the videos. It doesn't really come with OIS, I think it has EIS, but just in terms of stabilization, it was quite stable when I took the video earlier today in the morning. Alright, so now done with the camera, let's talk very quickly about how this phone performs on the daily. It does come with the Snapdragon 888, but it does come with the 8GB of RAM like I mentioned earlier on, and the 256GB of internal memory. Now here's a very quick benchmark score I did with Geekbench. It is very standard, the kind of results that you would expect from most flagship smartphones today that is powered by a Snapdragon 888. In terms of the gaming experience, I was able to play most games on the highest graphics settings. It definitely took a little while for me to get used to this kind of aspect ratio because it's slightly slimmer than what a normal phone usually feels, but I was able to get myself gaming very quickly. So overall, again, in terms of gaming, you do not need to worry about performance at all because you do have that Snapdragon 888. Launching apps, on the other hand, is also very fast and instantaneous because we have that flagship processor. So you don't have to worry about, even gaming or just using the device on the daily. And if you're wondering about that lack of Google apps, honestly speaking, it's getting much easier to sideload all the kinds of familiar apps that you used to use that I actually have them all running on my Huawei P50 Pocket. Now, last but not least, let's talk a little bit about the battery. We do have a 4000 mAh battery, and it supports 44-watt charge that you can charge up using the charger in the box. To be honest, I did not really time the speed of the charging speeds yet, so I will definitely update you guys in the chat section down below when I have that actual speeds. But yeah, overall, it did charge up fairly quickly. Definitely not more than 1 hour to get from 0 to 100%. Alright guys, that's it for today's video on the Huawei P50 Pocket. If you ask me who is this device for, honestly speaking, at the price of RM5999, although it is a very lightweight and compact device, it is definitely not light on your wallet at all. So people who actually buy this thing, they won't really care about the price. All they want is actually the fashion, being able to fold your device. It's a very fun to use device here, and you can actually just hold your device very lightly like this in just one palm. For the Huawei P50 Pocket here, you're getting all the kind of flagship specs that you would expect on a flagship device. And yeah, it's just a very nice device to use. If I had to choose one Huawei to use today, I think I might go with the Huawei P50 Pocket. Alright guys, let me know if you do have any other further questions down in the comment section below. If you do like this video, don't forget to drop a like, sub to the channel, and I hope to see all of you guys in the next one. Stay safe everybody. Bye!